Oh, here we go again. Welcome, everyone. Get this rugby podcast with the great Chew. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Get this.
In India. So this is episode 3, 2025. So, mate, we had a good week. So we're going to look back at round 2. Some interesting games.
Yep.
So let's start at Wallara, mate. This was almost an old-fashioned game of footy, except for the errors.
I think it was the only round this round that there was any tackling.
Yeah. Um,
It was tackling seemed to be a forgotten thing last week.
Yeah. I watched the whole game. Like the first half, Hunter had a heap of possession but couldn't score. I think they ended up scoring after 30 minutes, 5-0. And then East, they both scored a couple of tries in the second half, or one try, 2 tries for East, one Hunter. It was 12 all right on full time before East kicked a penalty goal. So I guess, the defence of both teams was pretty good, but man, there was some errors. There was a lot of handling errors. So, yeah, but it's early season, I suppose.
Yeah. I think that was a really good sign for Newcastle to be able to hold East to that many points. Not many teams will, and that was probably as good as a win for them. They picked up a bonus point, but they're probably spewing they didn't win. But I think that game last year they probably get flogged. So I think that was a good sign for them, actually. A win in the first round, a good showing in the second round. Good luck to them. They needed to improve, and it seems that they have, hey?
Yeah. And something I've been thinking about lately is it's underestimated how important goal kicks are, mate. Like Hunter kicked he missed two goals in that game. So there's 5 points. They probably win the game, I'm wondering whether teams are valuing goal kickers as much as they used to.
Well, I'd like to see the stats over, say, the last 10 years and the teams that won the comp. I'd like to know what percentage their kickers were getting. I'd like to think it's probably about 80%. I think to be really successful, probably at any level of footy, if your kicker's kicking in the low 80s, you're going to go half all right.
And it was funny, Cooper Whiteside, who kicked the goal, had a good year last year, good player, I think, good win. He had a kick about 2 minutes earlier, about 10 metres further in field, in front of the post. He missed that, and he kicked the harder one out wide. So,
yeah,
interesting how it works out.
He kicked really well at the end of last year.
Yeah, and I think he's a decent player. I'm not sure what it is with the 20-year-olds that go and shave their heads bald, but I don't know what happens there. But
yeah, well, they've got plenty of future to look forward to going bald, I suppose. So I can never understand that either. You're probably going to be bald when you're old anyway. Why bring it on early?
Yeah,
anyway, everyone's got it. Yeah, good luck to him if he wants to be bald.
Yeah, cool. So East are like two from 2, Hunter 1 and 1. So that's both teams can look forward to good seasons, I think. Mate, then we'll trot on over to TG Milner, mate. I'm calling this the TG massacre of round 2. Eastwood 80, South 17. Mate, what a day!
Jeez. I watched that game yesterday, and I think they scored off the kickoff just about, and they never stopped after that. And I think that's probably, I reckon, might be South's biggest loss ever. I think. I wouldn't be far off it. They've got some problems, haven't they?
Mate,
that was just, I don't know. That just looked like A grade and B grade, really, didn't it? Like they were just never in it, and that whatever Eastwood it was like a training run. It had nothing. Like Eastwood just scored at will. Like ran the ball, scored, and up the middle, up the side, didn't matter. I'm not quite sure what to make of that game from South, apart from it was terrible.
Yeah.
But Eastwood put together some good tries, obviously, but geez, they didn't have much opposition, and really worried for South after the first 2 weeks. How many points have they conceded, Greg?
What's that?
140 something, isn't it?
125, yeah. So a lot of points. But
25, right.
I guess from an Eastwood point of view, you go like good on them that they just kept going, but they didn't take the foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
But you like you say no opposition.
Probably terrible. What worried me about that game, even last year, South, they put it in for a half a game before they got outclassed. But the last couple of weeks, they've been gone up like in the first 20 minutes. It's all over, and they're just got to regroup, and it starts with just defence. Like all they got to do is defend, play really simple, and just see if they can lift themselves out of it. And this week, who they got? Manly at home.
Yeah.
Big test for them. But anyway, enough said about that game, I think.
Yeah, so Eastwood 2 from 2. So they're looking good. Obviously, South, mate. Faber's got a big job. We knew Faber would have a big job, so but maybe it looks bigger than we thought.
It was always going to be a 2 or 3 year project, I think, and probably a 3 year project or longer after what's happened to them the last 4 or 5 years. It wasn't going to be easy, but I thought they might have started a bit better. But anyway, it's a long season. Hopefully they come good.
Yeah. So the next game was probably the match of the round, mate. Gordon and North at Chatswood. Gordon 49, North 36. Well, mate, first half again, there were 7 tries. I think it was 28-24 at half time.
Right. It was like touch.
It was a bit like that.
And a game is supposed to have feeling and intent and all the rest of it. I've been down to a few of those games. There wasn't too much intent in it. There was a bit of mouthing off, but there was no tackling.
Yeah.
and like, I think there was 6 tries from rolling balls for each team, like between them. And they didn't even want to defend those either. To me, a game like that was a bit ridiculous. They were 2 of the best defensive teams last year. They come out and almost let in 50 and 40 something or whatever it is. It's I don't know. That if I was coaching, I'd be very worried about the points they're letting in. But they're not the only ones, I suppose. But
no, it's happening across the board.
I think both teams did some really good things. I was really impressed with some of those Gordon backs. That they seemed to up a level from last year, I think.
Yeah.
They look really good. But then again, I thought Norse played well, and they played well the week before, and we were a bit worried about how they were going to come out this season, and I think they're going to be all right,
They played good in patches. Like Gordon, to me, always looked a little bit better in their structure, and once in the second half, when Gordon got their plays how they're supposed to have it, like a bit more in the forwards, they dominated fairly well. I think North is struggling for their patterns of play. That's what I feel like. A bit
well, they've got a lot of new blokes there, and I thought their 7 played really well. I thought, and look, a couple of them. Look, they had some good performances. I think the 5'8" had a good game. Halfback had a good game. But look, they were playing a team that we probably think is going to be right there at the pointy end. So, they can't be too disappointed with the effort. Probably just defence was the biggest problem. Yeah,
I think, mate, defence in both teams, like, it was disappointing. Like, to me, that should be. And last year they played twice last year, and they were really close, low-scoring games. So maybe I think I'll just put it down to round 2.
Yeah, well.
Gordon.
Yeah, well, that's very good. Look, you only got to look. The amount of points scored in round 2 would be close to a record in Shoot Shield history, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, you'd have to be up there. Jeez.
Yeah.
Apart from the East game.
Oh, well, what's next?
So that was Chatswood. So Gordon roll on two in a row. Yep. Probably the weirdest game of the round at Sydney Uni, mate. Sydney Uni 43, Randwick 42. Randwick led 28-0 after, I think, 15 minutes.
when I watched the first half, I thought I thought you got the score wrong. I thought Ram are going to lose this. Like I've been fed the wrong info. Like, what's going on with Randwick in defence too? Like, God help me. There was that game had so many really soft tries from both teams.
Yeah, did.
Like, Blake's just untouched from 5 yards. Blake's just fallen off, and it was probably half a dozen really soft tries in that game. I suppose it was exciting if you were sitting there watching and you were a Uni fan or even a Randwick fan, I guess. But, geez, yeah, it was. I just can't fathom how that game turned out the way it did.
It was hard to believe. And you know something about this game. Randwick scored 6 tries, and they're all from the other side of halfway. Like, one of the tries that Randwick scored, the bloke just ran next to the ruck. Like, don't they do pillars at the ruck anymore? I don't know. Is that maybe that's not taught in the modern game?
Geez, that young Randwick fullback's pretty quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very quick gauge, Philip.
They had a couple of guys out wide that had some speed, but their defence around the ruck was terrible.
I think Uni too, like, and it happened in round one. They're getting benefit because they've got a pretty strong bench. Yeah. I think that's kind of why they won this game, because second half their scrum dominated. They tightened it up. So I guess that's credit.
Who won second grade in that game? That round fixture
in the same game.
I'm just wondering, because if Loudon's using a heap of fresh reserves, I'm just wondering how their second grades go.
Yeah, 39-29 they beat Randwick. So
okay,
obviously they've got a fair bit of depth there, mate.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And they won round one as well quite easily. So
yeah, right. Yeah,
so,
see, that's Gordon, Norse, and Randwick, probably the 3 best defensive teams over the last couple of years. Like, I just leaking points. Like, I just don't get it. What's changed there? Like,
I don't know, mate.
Some of the tackling technique and just it was terrible.
It's got to be, mate. It's got to be. You got to have a look at the coaching, because Hoylesy had them defending like maniacs, and they've had.
That's
and Hoylesy
2 weeks in a row. Randwick are letting really soft tries.
Yeah, and now they're 0-2, both close losses, and that could hurt them in the back end. So anyway, they got to fix that. With Uni, mate, they got the win in the last 2 minutes. So
yeah, I reckon.
Good luck to them. But I still don't know how they won the game. You know?
Yep.
But they, credit to them.
I'm so sure how rare. Yeah, they won. I'm sure how rare. I think Randwick lost it more than any. But anyway, what do you got next? Manly Para.
Yeah. So, mate, this was a bit of history. 2 Blues 27, Manly 19. Haven't beaten Manly since 2013, so 12 years. I actually watched this only just yesterday, and I thought it was a good, solid, like we talk about high scoring, it was actually a good, solid game of rugby, like a little bit scrappy, but 2 Blues played quite well. They led 14-0 early, and then they kind of did well in the second half.
I really expected Manly to win this game. I seem to say it every year. What's wrong over there? I don't know.
Between the years,
the first round, this round, and last year they were so, like, they were the most hot and cold team in the comp. They really got to win this week, I think. Otherwise, they're in a bit of strife. But I thought they'd win that. But Para at home, I suppose, look, they didn't play too bad in the first round. Gordon sort of beat them fairly easily, I'd say. But that was a good hit out for them. So it'd be interesting to see how both teams go this week. Because Para's away to
I think it was a good, solid win by 2 Blues. They, as I said, they led early, then they Manly hit back, and then they scored. They sort of scored again.
Yeah.
So they're 1-1, and Manly's 0-2. So
yeah. Oh, well.
I don't know what to say about Manly, mate. He makes changes. He moves play, but I don't know. He changed the halfback.
You seen the team for this week?
Yeah, I've got to go through them when we.
We'll go through that when we go through the games, but they've been in 2 games and just haven't haven't finished it, but
yeah. But there's something going. I mean, they're early under a new coach, so maybe we just hold fire for a bit. The last game was at Rat Park, mate. Warringah 52, West 0. West in South Boat, you've got to say, like, I don't know, mate. They're not. It's not happening yet.
They've got a great defensive coach. I just don't know what's going on with them. How many have they led in the first 2 weeks?
So that's what?
Over 100.
59 and 52, so 111. It's a lot of points.
You just can't do that. I just, what do you say? What was it, 52 zip, wasn't it?
52-0, yeah. Like, we probably expected the Rats to win.
I thought Warringah would win, but I thought West had put up a better effort than that, and I can't really say too much about it. Warringah went out and did business, I guess. But I wonder what's going on at West. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I thought they'd be a lot stronger, or would have started a lot stronger. Well, the best thing is they've got a whole season to get over it.
Yeah, but you lose too many games, it kills you, doesn't it? Yeah. So anyway, after round 2, so we still had 4 unbeaten teams: Eastwood, Uni, Gordon, East. And then 4 teams with 1 win. So. And Randwick and Manly 9th and 10th. You don't see that very often. Anyway.
Hang on a sec. I just got to plug my phone in.
All right, let's go on to the preview, mate. Let's preview round 3.
Yep.
So
first game's today, right?
Today at Newcastle, Hunter and Eastwood, mate. That's going to be very interesting. So the team lists, almost the same team for Newcastle. One of the wingers is new. But they're getting so much benefit out of Donnie Freeman being captain. I think that's a really good move.
Yeah, good player.
They did have an injury with the guy that was playing 13. That hurts, but and Eastwood, but why would you change the teams? So they got the same side pretty much. So Tane Edmed's gone back to the Warriors.
They've scored over 100 points in 2 games.
Nearly 120. So.
Be interesting to see, because I think Newcastle will defend a lot better than what Eastwood's been up against the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to have to, really.
It probably sounds crazy to tip against a team that scored 80 points, but I'll be tipping Newcastle in this one, purely because they're
I'm going with them as well. Playing up there, Good Friday. It's, at least we're going to handle the travelling and everything. Geez, the traffic's probably shocking today, but I don't know. It'd be a bit of a test for Eastwood after last week. I guess they had a train and run. They should be sharp, but I think Newcastle will fancy themselves in this game.
Yeah, and I think Eastwood's still got a problem with their scrum. I think their scrum's still not that good.
I was going to say Newcastle, I think, would be like a hell of a lot tougher up front than what they've encountered lately. So, I'll be going Newcastle in that one.
Yeah.
Is that at 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah. So on Saturday, I assume this is almost the match of the round. East and North, mate, big game, especially for North. 1-1. East have been solid to start the season.
Yep.
I'm just having a look at the team lists here. So, East are basically the same. No one. Jack Bowen's playing 10 this week. Derby Lancaster's playing. That's a couple of big ins.
All right.
North, basically the same side. Impressed by the couple of blokes North got from Canberra, like the halfback. They got him from Canberra.
Oh, yeah.
And who's the other one? Can't think of the other guy. Marshall Lemaitre. They got him from Canberra's World 7. He played well last week.
Oh, yeah. He was probably one of the best players, I thought.
Yeah, and obviously James Morgan, mate. You can write. Mate, I'm nearly calling him the mailman. He always delivers, mate. Just about every week he plays well.
Yeah, he's. I've always thought he's a good player. His throwing was always a problem, but hopefully he get better there. But,
yeah, he seems to be starting this year, and Kitchen's coming off the bench, so
yeah,
that seems to work at the moment.
Yeah, Norths have just got to tighten up their defence because East defence will be pretty good, I imagine. And from what I've seen and the way they finished last year, their defence improved out of sight. So they'll be solid around there. And playing at North Sydney, I might go Norths in this one.
Yeah, I'll go East here, mate.
All right.
I think it'll be close. North will improve a hell of a lot, I think. But I think East will just have that little bit. Seem different to me too. It's probably the premiership thing. They just seem a bit more confident within themselves this year.
Yeah, well, they should be. But should be a good game, that one. I'll be definitely watching that.
Yeah.
What have we got next?
So next one off to Chatswood, Gordon and West Harbour. What do we say here? West any chance? I don't know.
I just hope West put up a better effort, and they can't be letting in 20 points in the first 10 minutes like they've been doing. I just hope they pick themselves up and defend well and put in a real effort and improve. Like they just got to get better. They might not, even if they don't win, they've got to show something. And I'd say they would have been getting it revved up all week, and I'd suggest some of their training sessions might have been a bit horrible, but and so they should be. Well, I can't tip against Gordon in this one, but I just really hope West improve, and because I know they're better than what they're showing. So
he's made a lot of changes. Jesus. He's put Sonny Sadawala back in to start. That's probably not so bad. Willio's son is starting at lock, which is interesting. Because he went from Manly to West this year. James Favors starting at 10. Payne Rush 13. So he's made a whole lot of changes, mate.
They always bring Favour in when they've had a few dramas, and he comes in and settles the ship a bit.
He's calm.
But
not sure if he's goal kicking. Sometimes a bit hit and miss, but anyway.
Yeah.
Gordon looked like they've rotated a few plays. He's made a few changes here. He's got a new 10. New hooker. Yeah, he's brought a few
it's
players.
Probably the game to do it. West just got to improve. We need to have West strong for rugby, and I'd really like to see them just kick on now. And they've got over those first 2 weeks. They just got to get better from here and show something. But I'll be going Gordon, mate. Yeah,
I'll be going Gordon. I think Blakey's just having a look at some players there. Like he's just putting someone in and see how you can go. Because got to find something in that group.
Yeah.
Ramick and 2 Blues at Coogee, mate. Like you talk about they hadn't beaten Manly for a while, mate. I guarantee they haven't beaten Ramick at Coogee for a long time. Probably since you played.
Nah, I'd say that'd be a lot longer. Look, Ramick have got to come good in this game. If they lose this, they're in strife, and I think it'll just, I don't know, it'll make it hard for them if they lose this game. Look, they haven't been bad. It's just been their defence, and if the rest of their game's not too bad, but I wouldn't mind betting they did a heap of defence this week. And and Parrell run the ball at them, so they just got to tackle. If they don't tackle, Parrell score. Yeah. And they'll do some unexpected sort of stuff. So Randwick going to have to be on their game to win this, but I'll be tipping Randwick just because I think they're too good a side to lose 3 in a row, and I think they're a better team than Para, so I'll be going Randwick, man.
Yeah, I'll tip Randwick. I was just looking at the team list. Randwick only made one change. John O'Chan at 12, he got an injury last week, so he's out. Replaced by an Italian guy. Ben
He played well too.
Yeah. And the two Blues.
12 had a good game.
Yeah, he got injured early. One player that I'm pleased to be doing well is Max Moore. He's been around the Randwick club for quite a while. Plays 6 or 8. Good.
Who's
good.
that?
Max Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Big kid. And good to see Angus Houston back this week. Now, for two Blues, mate, it looks like, except for one of the second rows, it's pretty much the same team. They played pretty well last week, I thought. A little bit clunky at times, but overall, mate, they were pretty solid up front. It wasn't a very two Blues almost like performance last week. It was almost a bit more structure, so it was interesting to watch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
interesting to see if they can do it again. You know, they seem to be a bit like that from week to week, but I just think it could. You know, Randwick, it's a must-win game for them. I just think they'll be too strong.
You know what? I don't like doing it, mate. I know we've been nice so far, but they've got the same ref they had last week, and it was this young guy they had last week that we criticised that goes overboard with the high tackle penalties, and he did the same in the two Blues Manly game.
Yeah,
you've got to have some common sense around it. You can't just penalise everything. It's ridiculous.
They all seem to do it early in the season, but what I don't think it was as bad as last year, the first 2 rounds, because the first probably half a dozen rounds last year, it was you only had to touch a bloke and it was a high tackle. They were going crazy, but well, hopefully they start settling down a bit, and I suppose the refs, they're like players; they get better as they play. You know, do more games, and
I guess so.
You'd hope, and I suppose it's a bit. You know, they're going to run themselves into a bit of form as well. I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah, but I haven't had overall the first 2 rounds. I haven't had too many issues with the refs so far.
Yeah, I only noticed that he gave a lot of high tackle penalties last week. I think it more benefited two Blues than Manly actually in that game, but that happens.
The West, Para sort of are on the borderline of that most weeks, so they get a bit lazy in defence sometimes. So see what happens.
Yeah.
Next game.
Mate, what do we say? What are we going to say about this game? South and Manly at 4, sure, mate. Well, what are we going to do with South, mate? First of all, I'll go. So, what do you do when you're struggling? You go back to some old war horses. So, South have brought back in Jake Douglas, who, by reports, was going to play mainly second grade this year, but he's put him back in first grade. Apart from that, mate, he's picked pretty much the same team. He's got one new prop, Sam Miller. I don't know him. Manly looks very similar to last week. Well, it's interesting. The 9 who played last week, Stafford, he's playing 10 this week. Because I think they've got a problem around goal kicking, Manly. They've got a few new players.
The first round, I don't think they hardly kicked a goal, did they?
No, it hurt them. It probably lost them the game, really. Interesting to see Yule back in first grade. He hasn't been in first grade for quite a while. So, mate, I don't know. Unless South I can't, mate. If South win this game, they'll get drug tested, won't they?
Oh, look, I think it's a bit like West. They're playing at home. They can't go out this week. Look, East flogged them in the first round. They're playing the Premiers, new season, all that. Last week was a disgrace. They can't go out at home and get a cricket score run up against them. The South fans, they're not going to cop that, and the club just, that's not them, and I know it's certainly not Scotty. He won't accept it either. So I think Manly will win, but it's one of those games where I just want to see South improve, and particularly in the defence and just having a real dig. Like and having Jake Douglas, but that'll help. They've got to get some mongrel in them and start playing like South's play. And just doing that will get them a long way, I'll tell you. But Manly want to know that they've played a game this week, and that'll start. You'll know how they're going to go in about the first 5 minutes, I reckon. Yeah. And they should turn on a stink or something. Like they've got to do something. But the first, get into them, and they need something to lift them. And hopefully this week at training they got flogged, and because they deserved it.
Yeah, that was terrible, horrible.
And I just hope they go better.
And mate, let's call it spade.
I don't like doing it, but I'll be tipping. Yep, I'll be tipping Manly because I just think South's got too many problems to win the game. But I just hope they get better. And Manly got to win, really.
Yeah, I'll tip Manly.
Would you say?
I'll tip Manly, but I think it'll be a massive turnaround from South.
Hope so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has to be. Otherwise, if they get beaten, well beaten here today, I fear for the rest of the season.
Well, they can get beat, but it's got to be an effort that's worthy. They can't go out there and just get flogged because it's just, they can't do that. They've got to start tomorrow and really get on it. And I'm sure they'll come back a lot better tomorrow.
Yeah. So the final game, mate, and I think this is the match of the round, Warringah and Sydney Uni at Rat Park. Like we know, mate, if there's two teams that don't like each other, these two have been in the top five. Had some grand finals not many years ago, and mate, I know Josh Holmes like nothing more than beating Uni, so this is going to be a big game.
How's the Warringah team looking?
Just having it. Where is it? Lost it. There we go. So yeah, they're pretty much the same side, which I suppose you'd win by 50. They looked a lot better with Tyson Davis back at 12, I thought. Potgieter's still there in the lock. Mate, that's a good, when you think about Potgieter and Sam Thompson, that's a bloody good second rowers. Probably the best in the comp, really.
Yeah.
And mate, they were good last week. Uni have made a couple of changes. Changed their front row completely, which is interesting. Declan Moore's back at 2.
Really?
New halfback. Not sure what. They've changed the 9 and 10. That's interesting. He's changed the team around, even though they're playing reasonably well. But geez, despite Uni winning 2 in a row, mate, I'll be tipping the Rats in this one.
It's going to be a big test for Uni because Randwick had no defence, and who did they play in the first round? It was
West Harbour.
West Harbour, that's right. So they haven't had 2 tough games. Like Randwick are a good team, but they weren't tough games. I think this is going to be a wake up because I think Warringah will come out. It's going to be physical, I'd imagine. So playing at Rat Park too, it'll be a big day over Easter. They'll have a big crowd there. I think Warringah, they want to win the comp this year, and that's their. They think they should be there. So I'm tipping Warringah in this one, mate. I think they'll be too strong at home.
Yeah, I think so.
You're going them, weren't
you? Yeah, going Warringah. But I think it might not be a big score, but I think Warringah will defend better, and good to see what
this one
have when a team defends them. What will Uni have when Rats defend well?
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. I think this could come down to goal kicking too, and Warringah got a pretty good kicker in that 5'8". What's his name?
Toby Milne,
yeah. Like he kicks really well, and I think he'll be good for about 15 or 18 points on his own. I'd say if they can chuck a couple of tries in, defend well. I just think they'll be just too strong for Uni. Particularly all those changes, that's a bit strange, but that might backfire on Uni. So, but we'll see. But,
I know he's put Joey Fowler at 10. He's in the Australian under-20s, but is he? I'm not sure whether he's ready for first grade at 10. That's a big call from Todd Loudon, I would have thought. But we'll see. Mate, that's all we can do.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a real big day out there, and there'll be a lot of drunk Rats supporters there. I'm telling you,
Mate,
that'll be
would you
huge, especially if it's a nice day like today. I think it's going to be.
call them drown
That'll be
rats,
a
mate?
big old day out there at Red Park.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
only other thing I wanted to touch on was, well, actually it's on now. No, it's on tomorrow. Waratahs travel to Fiji. That's going to be a tough game, mate.
Fiji beat us last time, didn't they?
No, we just got them, but we probably should have lost that game.
Over there, didn't they? Did they beat us there over there last year? Didn't they?
Last year they did, yeah, over there.
Yeah. Oh
We
well.
beat them in Sydney. But...
Look, you'd think the Waratahs would win that, but playing over there, it's always tough. I remember playing for the Waratahs myself and losing over there. And it was in about a foot of mud, but look, anything could happen. But you'd think the Waratahs should get away with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, Fiji's won 1 from 7, so you'd think they're on the bottom of the ladder at the moment. So you'd hope so.
Really,
Waratahs need to win.
They should do business on Fiji. Really, you'd be worried if they didn't. But although the away form is a thing, so
the problem, yeah.
Yeah, but look, it's not New Zealand. They're playing Fiji, so I look if they're just solid up front and do the simple things right, they should win that.
Yeah.
So don't get drawn into the Fiji style of play and stuff. I just can't see them losing that really, unless they're playing in a cyclone or a foot of mud like I did when I was over there. But go to the Waratahs. They'll get up.
Yeah. So we finally we'll touch on our team, mate. We had our second loss, but we were much improved. Gosford Kariong. We played at Avoca Beach, mate. In the end, we probably could have won the game. They made the grand final last year. So
it was a giant improvement from the fellas, and they put it in all week. And apart from a few poor decisions when we were attacking and a little bit of luck, we had a 21-15. We were sort of in control. We probably should have won from there, and there was one 14-point turnaround in the game off a bad kick, and it was very encouraging, and I was so happy for the fellas because they really turned around on the weekend, and hopefully we can just keep getting better. And
that's it, mate. Definitely.
We've got the weekend off, so hopefully I'll get over to Chatswood tomorrow and have a look at that.
No worries. All right, mate. We'll talk to you next week.
Good on you, mate. Get this.
And don't forget, everyone, like and subscribe. We've got 8 subscribers, so we're definitely looking for more and more views. So share it everywhere.
We're looking for sponsors. Get them in here.
Yeah, get in here.
See you, mate.
Above this one. All right, mate. See you next week.
See
you, mate.